I'm not retired yet, my friend. No, no. They can say whatever they want, but it's not that easy. One fight, don't put in that position. You need to do a lot.
Oh, Albers thinks you're not a 54 pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he would grab me or
I'm not retired yet, my friend. They can say what they can say, whatever they want, but it's not that easy. One pipe, don't put in that position. You need to do a lot of things. Canelo Alers thinks you're not a 54 pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small. That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he either grabbed me or moved. Terence Bud Crawford is never one to shy away from expressing his thoughts, and his recent comments directed at Canelo Alvarez are a prime example of his non-nonsense attitude. Just recently, Crawford made a comment about just how much Canelo's name is declining in the sport, and he wasn't holding back his thoughts. The comment came in response to Crawford being placed on the undercard of Canelo's next fight. This isn't a distant issue either, it's unfolding in real time, and it speaks volumes about the changing landscape of boxing and the fire between these two. We all know Canelo is great, we all know he's big, we all know he's strong, he got good timing, he got good punching power, he moves his head well, he's a good counter puncher. We all know all that things about Canelo, but we never seen Terence Crawford at 168, so we don't know if Terence Crawford can take his punch apart. We don't know if Canelo going to be able to box toe for toe with Terence. The story goes like this: Crawford's rematch with Errol Spence Jr., one of the most highly anticipated fights in the welterweight division, may have been scheduled for the undercard of Canelo's upcoming bout. This decision was met with both confusion and outrage from fans. Why would one of the best fighters in the world, a man who just demolished Spence in their first meeting, be relegated to a secondary role? The answer lies in the numbers. Canelo, despite his legacy as one of the sport's most accomplished fighters, has been struggling with his recent pay-per-view numbers and ticket sales. His last few fights, especially against Gennady Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol, failed to live up to expectations, both in terms of drawing power and the excitement they generated. And now, to add insult to injury, Crawford's second fight with Spence is seen as the true headliner, but it's being buried beneath Canelo's shadow. It could happen. Why not? Crawford want to. If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, so you know what I'm saying. I'm with it, so I'll be going for, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. Crawford, for his part, isn't one to sit quietly when it comes to such slight. His statement calling out Canelo wasn't just a personal attack, it was a reminder that the sport has changed to him. It was Crawford, not Canelo, who dominated the welterweight division, decimating Spence in a fight that cemented his status as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Bud vs. Nell, based on last fight, is a 5,050, so Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender, and somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madre fight, making it a 50-50 fight. Wow. And yet he's been placed on the undercard, forced to share the spotlight with a fighter whose recent form has been under question. Crawford's brash comment about ticket sales being dead was a stark reflection of the fact that Canelo's name, while still huge in the boxing world, isn't the draw it once was. Fans are no longer flocking to his fights in the same numbers they did before, and that's become an undeniable reality. Crawford, being the competitive fighter he is, couldn't let this go without a response. This tension between the two men is about more than just a pay-per-view schedule, it's about their place in boxing history. Don't you all want to see knockouts? I'm from a different time in this sport when fighters went to war in the ring. We wanted to destroy our opponents. I still took the Pacquiao fight knowing my body was broken and old and I couldn't beat him, but I was a warrior. I wanted to be a legend. It's a different mentality, a champion's mentality. Canelo wants to get paid. He avoids Benitez and Bivol, who schooled him. Just like Mayweather, he wants to cruise easily into retirement. Canelo, who once appeared invincible, has been showing signs of vulnerability. The loss to Dmitry Bivol revealed cracks in his armor, and his decision to stay at super middleweight rather than returning to light heavyweight for a rematch raised more than a few questions. Canelo's reign, once viewed as impervious, has started to look more like a series of opportunistic moves, with the allure of his massive paydays overshadowing the actual quality of his performances. His struggles to make the big fights happen, particularly the one with Crawford that fans have long been clamoring for, or even Benitez, has given more fuel to the fire. Crawford, on the other hand, has continued to dominate, with his knockout win over Spence further solidifying his claim as the best in the sport. I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got The reach over him, he might got the size, the power, I got the better skills, boxing skills. Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out, from Kirkland to Amir Khan to just obviously I'm just saying man, no, but he's not Kovalev. He does, don't get me wrong, he does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry, no disrespect, but the heat doesn't end there. Recently it was revealed by Turki Al-Sheikh, a powerful figure in the Saudi sports scene, that bigger fights could be on the horizon for both Crawford and Canelo. Al-Sheikh, known for his involvement in the development of combat sports in the Middle East, hinted that both men could be part of a major boxing event that would far surpass the scope of their current bout. This revelation adds another layer to the ongoing situation. Could Crawford's fight with Spence be just a stepping stone for bigger opportunities in Saudi Arabia, and could Canelo be playing the role of the aging champion, relying on younger stars like Crawford to keep the spotlight shining on him? This isn't just about Canelo's fading power, it's about the future of boxing and the changing dynamics in the sport. The rise of new stars like Crawford, who refuses to play by the traditional rules of promotion, is a sign that the old guard is being challenged. The heavyweight division is once again alive with action, but the same can be said for the smaller weight classes. Crawford, with his all-around skills and his willingness to fight the best, is carving out a path that could very well redefine what it means to be the top fighter in the world. His willingness to call out Canelo for his weak ticket sales only proves that he's not here to play second fiddle to anyone. He's here to take the throne, and he's not waiting for permission. You want to fight Canelo? Would you ever entertain a fight with a Benavidez? Benavidez is a big dude, not to say I won't fight him, but the only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, you know what I mean, but he's not a big dude. Benavidez is like 6 foot something, coming 190, 200 probably, you know what I mean. I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez. Canelo, meanwhile, is facing the reality of his career. For years he has been the undisputed king of boxing, the fighter everyone looked to as the face of the sport, but in 2023 that narrative started to crack. The doubts about his ability to still perform at the highest level are growing, and his reliance on other names to sell his events is only further proof of that. Crawford, by contrast, is at the peak of his powers. His win over Spence was a defining moment in boxing, a display of dominance that left little room for debate, and yet he finds himself placed on the undercard of a man who in his eyes is no longer the top draw he once was. And this view is not just with Crawford. Even Benz believes Canelo is overhyped. You got to fight the best in the division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell, so it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? Why is he asking $200 million? Why, when they bring my name up with him? Canelo Alvarez once again has the boxing world arguing in circles, but this time it's not about a sanctioning body or scorecard, it's about whether he can survive or even thrive in the land of giants. Fresh footage has surfaced showing the Mexican superstar sparring with undefeated heavyweight contender Frank Sanchez, and it's already sending shock waves through the sport. For those who followed Canelo's climb from 147 to 175 pounds, this shouldn't be a complete surprise. The man who began his legacy in the welterweight division has never respected limits. Canelo, a hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez, you know. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is. He's going up to cruise, and I'm not knocking him, but he's going up to cruise weight, and that same guy with that used to be at the Mayweather boxing gym. The guys getting the best of in the Mayweather boxing gym. He stopped Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight to win a world title, and at one point had plans to challenge cruiserweight Ilunga Makabu, a request the WBC shockingly approved in 2021. It seemed absurd at the time, it still does, but Canelo just doesn't care. And now, with him moving around the ring against a 6 feet 4 inches 220 pounds heavyweight like Frank Sanchez,